Hello guys, this is a fast tour to the back end of the system. I'll click login straightforward. The username and password are the same for the admin of the system. So basically I logged into the back end. Usually these are the standard roles available in the system: teacher, student, and editor, of course, and the admin that I just logged in with. The student account we already saw on the front end, so when I log in as a student, I see what you saw in the front end video. Then you have teacher and you have editor. I will get back to that later. Let me go straight to where you can add the data, the content that you saw on the front end. Remember, on the front end, you're scanning, the system spots a location. When you click on location, you get a multiple choice question. The other part of it is where you have something similar to the categories in Explorers, where you have stories and have videos and have different things. So I go to classes here, I go to levels. The other things I can come across later on, but let's just go straight to things relevant to the front end. Your front end is integrated with this level 1 only, not the other ones. So of course you can add data to the other ones, but it's not part of the front end demo, because this is a demo. So I go to contents of level 1, and this should be familiar to you because here you have the questions that you've seen in the front end. So what happens again? I scan, the system spots a predefined location, it marks it for me as a circle. When I click on it, the system come here, pick a random question and show it to me to answer. If I go to reading, this is familiar for you as well because we've seen it in the front end as well. How do I add a story? I click add, the story title, the image of the story, the text of the story in case you want to have text for the story, and you add here the audio, and you can add tags, and you click insert, and that's it, done. That's how you add the story to the system. Here the questions. Obviously you can add different content here as well, but I'm trying to keep it like these are the videos that we saw before in the front end. To add a multiple choice question, I click here add. I choose the type of the question. Remember, on the front end sometimes the question came as a text, image, audio. So I choose the type of the question. If it's text, I write the question here. If it's image or audio, I have to like add the image, select and get an image from my laptop or whatever. Same goes here. So I select and I add, and then I tick which question, which answer I added is the right answer, and I click insert. So basically, here's the question I added. I add 3 answers, I tick the right answer and click insert. And that's it. It's done. Well, let me show you something I feel it's interesting here. This is your tour. I will go to the details. This is the name of it. This is your system. So this tour is in your system. This is the teacher because the system requires that. So it's on Peter's account, Peter Teach. And here I'm picking supporting languages. What does supporting language mean? Here it is. Usually in all modern systems, you can change obviously the interface language. So there's nothing a big deal in this. What we added to it here is that even when you add a content, for example, this question, I can add the translations to it. As you can see in Arabic, قطة in Arabic. So I can add translations to different languages. So of course we're cheating here. The content is in Swedish, but I wrote it cat. So here in English I have to write cat again. I think you know why. My Swedish. So basically, not only you can translate the interface to make it language like support languages, you can also add language support to any content you have in the system, which can come in handy in many ways. Now, students, from the back end, I can add a new student. Here you'll notice there are student names based on your name, Peter something, Anders something, Magnus something. So I recommend logging in with that so you don't log into the same account at the same moment and do the same thing. I can add a teacher, and of course, one important note, if you add a student because you want to add a new account, it's important here to add it to your course, your tour, to be able to log into the front end properly with it. Here's another interesting thing here. When you create an account for a student, you can decide when this student log into the system the first time, which language he should see here. Like if your system is in Swedish and you want to add Ramzi to check the system, you can say, okay, when Ramzi log into the system, let him see the interface in English, because Ramzi's Swedish is not encouraging. So that's another feature that you have in the system. You have here something called clone. This is basically if you have a huge database in the system and you create a different account, different portal, so to speak, and you want to have the same database in that portal as well, in order not to input the data, the huge data, another time, which is time consuming, money consuming, error prone, and so on, and to avoid the usual way to do it, which is to export your data to Excel or whatever and then import it back to system, we created a cool thing here. You make this one as public, you tick it as public, and then when you go to the new portal, you click show public classes, and then you pick the one you want to add it to your system. So let me say this one. I say clone. Okay. So basically now it's cloning the system for me. Here it is. One click, I added new database to my system. Let's delete this one so we are not confused. So that's in a nutshell how this works. So here's, as I mentioned, the admin account. First, I will log to the other two type of accounts to show the difference in a minute. I think I rambled a bit in this video, but you can forgive me for that. So let's go to Peter edit. So in the admin, I created an editor account for Peter. I call it Peter edit. Oh, sorry, 8. So as you can see, when I logged in as a Peter Edit, which means I'm an editor now, I'm not an admin, everything vanished from here. The only thing the editor can do is to add content. He cannot add students, he cannot add any kind of account, he cannot play around with the system settings or anything like that. The only thing I can do here is that I can add content, which is important when you have a system that requires a lot of content. You need a lot of people to help you to input the content, but you don't want to create accounts for them where they are able to control the whole system. So basically, you create an account for them to add content and only that. So this is the editor account. Let's go to Peter teacher account. So Peter cannot add content here because his account type is teacher. The only thing Peter can do, because he's the teacher of this class tour 1, he can see the students he has. I have a lot of servers working on the background that has nothing to do with your system, if you're wondering the noise. So here are the students of Peter, and then he can see the report of each student. Now in the system we have already built on this one the game, the virtual reality game that I told you about in the front end video. The Peter can see this student, Peter demo, the student, activities on that game. When he logged in, which level he's on, how many points he won, how many questions he answered right, and he can see that also graphically. So a very limited analysis, but that's basically what was required. So that's the only thing Peter can do as a teacher. He can check his students in this account, in this platform basically. So it depends on what kind of account I log in with, I can do different things. I will stop here and we can have discussions about other things. Last thing, as I mentioned, this is a demo glitched together. You saw PHP and JavaScript on the front end. You saw PHP .NET on the back end. Of course, the game that's originally built on this platform is a game virtual reality, and it's built on Unity engine. So we are quite comfortable with different type of technologies. We use what feels best and what we recommend usually for the client, obviously, and then they can make their own decisions if they want. Sorry for the long video, but hope it helps a bit.